Welcome back, everybody. This is the EdUp Experience podcast where we make education your business, interviewing the brightest and most influential minds in higher education today.
Ooh.
Whoa. Look at that. Liz, I've been learning how to use the equipment
Good
here.
for you.
So I want you to say something, anything that you would like to say right now. I want you to say something.
Joe is the best co-host I could ever have in the world.
Oh, Liz, care to say something else? Try something else, Liz.
Joe is the best leader that higher education.
Okay.
I can't even say it with a straight face.
Okay. Yeah, Liz, that was no good. That one. That was horrible. One more thing, Liz. One more thing.
I started laughing.
Say one more thing for me. Anything at all.
Joe is starting to get on my nerves right now.
Yeah, Liz is not on fire right now. She's not on fire, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not on fire.
Yes, thank you, everyone. I'm doing a little bit better than Liz right now.
Yeah.
So anyway,
you finally have reached the pinnacle of my mentor.
I had to step it up a little bit because
please step your game up.
We have the most specialist of guests.
I love
we could
that.
Possibly
Specialist.
have.
Is that a new word?
That is my word, and I'm sticking to it.
There you go.
All right.
Good
His
job.
name is Mitch Tallenfeld, and he's president of MDT Marketing, ladies and gentlemen.
I like that.
Mitch, welcome back. Or welcome finally, I should say. I say welcome back because we've known Mitch for a while.
Yes, we have.
He has been the most staunchest, yes, I did say that, supporter of the EdUp Experience podcast of any of our supporters, which let me tell you, when we went out for, sometimes when we go out and we think we have supporters, they surprise us that they're not so supportive. Mitch has been the most supportive.
He has been the cornerstone.
A cornerstone, yeah. And allowed us to have some freedom to do some cool things, supported many episodes, sponsored many episodes of the EdUp Experience podcast. We want to talk to him. We want to talk to him about his company because he has what I believe to be a very unique organization.
Innovative,
unique. It's got a lot of loyalty from staff. And Mitch, you've grown an incredible marketing agency over, 21 or 22 years now?
We're in our 26th year.
26 years.
Trailblazer in the industry.
Yeah, that's a third of your age, Liz. So it's been going on for a while.
Oh, I'm way older.
So
give me
you're
some credit.
so bad.
Wait.
Yeah.
That's a third of your age, Liz.
I thought you were going to say wah, wah, wah.
No, that's only for when you do things. I'm the only one that knows how to use the equipment.
Yes.
So,
I'm equipment challenged at this point.
Mitch,
so.
Tell us about MDT. Tell us about why and how you've built such a loyal group of amazing employees over 26 years.
I feel just very lucky. It's all luck.
It's all luck. Can't be all luck.
I stumbled into it. I got lucky. I stumbled into it. I didn't understand. We started the company, and it was a printing and mailing company when we started it. And I was having trouble. I was doing just like you guys. I was doing most of the things myself.
Without any direction, like us, right?
Yeah,
just kind of
sure. Well,
tripping over ourselves.
I give you direction, but you just don't take my direction. That's a part of the problem.
Don't you dare. I'm prepared for you.
The mentorship aspect of it. I'd love for Mitch to jump into that as well and talk to us about how he was able to find that. But yeah, so you didn't have the help.
Didn't have. I was just figuring it out on my own with my business partner.
Gotcha.
And we ended up hiring a young lady who we had gone through various staff members, and the mistakes were happening. I had to be on top of proofing everything that was going on.
I do that for this.
There you go. Yep. And I hired someone who had their master's degree. She was incredible. I mean, incredible. One of the smartest people I had ever met in my life. And all of a sudden, I realized how important it was to find really great people who were good at the role, who were good at the job that you were hiring them for. Mm-hmm. And that's what got me started off. Her name was Barry. And she was incredible. And we started really thinking about how we were hiring people, hiring the right people. We started thinking, well, how do we get someone who's that good to stay with us?
Yeah.
And we went ahead and hooked up with one of those employment leasing companies, which gave us as a small organization the ability to be able to give good people great benefits. And
Yeah.
that's how we got started. And here we are today, 26 years later. And I've got a team of people who are all of them much smarter than I am.
Yeah, well, we say that here at the Edip Experience too, where Liz will say that about me, that she puts people around her that are much smarter than she is, right, Liz?
Yeah, but I just wish you would live up to the potential and to what I've asked you to do. It's like you won't really step your game up. And I would love, I love that. I would love
All right,
for
I'll stop now.
Mitch to explain how he was able to, because I love when you talk about your journey through higher education and how, as a marketer and someone that had experience in that advertising space, how you were able to navigate going into higher education. Those of us that work in the field know it's very specific and very unique in terms
Tight.
of the very tight in terms of the marketing aspect of it. Can you tell us a little bit about what attracted you to wanting to work in higher education, for one, and how you've been able to navigate and stay ahead of the curve in such a competitive and unique industry, serving such a competitive industry?
I wish I could say it was a planned event and everything. I had thought this through for years, and I stumbled into it.
Yeah.
I stumbled into it like most people stumble into things in their life.
Into higher ed specifically, like we
Yeah.
all stumbled into higher ed one way
yeah.
or the other. And I don't think anybody went, hey, I want to be an admissions person, or hey, I want to be president of a marketing company for higher education. It's you fall into it, right?
I met a gentleman by the name of C.M. Fike, who was the founder. I believe he was the founder, but he was certainly the owner of City College in Fort Lauderdale. And he started sending me, we were doing marketing work for him, and I got to know him really well. And from out of nowhere, I started getting his internal admissions and marketing reports. And I'm thinking, why am I getting these? They're coming in the mail to me. And one day I asked him, I said, what is this? About 3 months later, he says, Mitch, I want you to understand everything about our business.
That's
and then
cool.
I'm going to start picking your brain. And I started really liking what I was seeing. And I got more involved with City College. And then I got to meet Art Kaiser, who is now...
Dr. Art Kaiser, been a great guest for the Edip Experience. And Robert Kaiser, from that matter.
And I met Robert Kaiser, but I stumbled into it. And I love it. I love what school does for people. I love education. It's the great equalizer. It's the thing that people can gain and nobody can take it away from them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I stumbled into it. I found out we were good at it, and I started coming up with different ideas. And the more we got involved in it, the better I found out we were good at it. And I realized something. I realized that if we did a good job as a marketing company helping schools find students, we were helping to change the trajectory of so many people's lives. So the better we did, the better people and the students were, the better their families were as a result of our successful endeavors.
All right, so let's talk MDT.
it.
Let's talk. Higher ed is a very competitive space. There are a number of marketing companies. Marketing companies, I think there's a lot of marketing companies in any industry, but in higher education, because we're smaller, there are still a lot of marketing companies. You get to know people. You get to know marketing companies. There's some familiarity that you have. Talk about MDT and what you believe differentiates you from an organizational perspective. Not the actual ins and outs of what you can do and how you do it, but what differentiates you as an organization compared to another marketing company that a school might work with. What are you getting from MDT's people that you may not get from this other marketing agency?
That's a really great question. And I would suspect that a lot of different agencies would say the same thing, which is their team. I can tell you,
But they may not
our
believe
team.
it. Yeah.
We've got some of the smartest, brightest, most talented individuals that I've ever met in my life. They've been with us. They've been with us for years. They stick with us because they love what we do. They believe in our culture, and We believe in them, and they believe in the purpose. We want everything we do. We want to help people who we touch become more successful, and they all believe that.
The reason I asked you that specifically, Mitch, and I already know the answer, but I asked you because I wanted to hear you say it, obviously, as the president and owner. You've been, and you're some of your employees that you have here, I've known personally for 15 years. Typically, in a marketing agency, people don't stick around that long. They go from agency to agency. They go into higher ed, outside into marketing. There's, kind of within the industry, but not specifically staying. You've kept a amazing staff that has really vaulted your organization to higher levels. And what I have seen and experienced myself is the high level of trust that you guys are able to gain with your clients. And trust, I think, for any marketing organization working with a higher education company, trust has to be central to how we operate, right?
So, absolutely. So my dad told me once, he says, don't ever believe that you're working for anybody else in life but yourself. And I get that. And I get that everybody who works at our company, it's great. They're doing it for MDT, but they're doing it for themselves.
Yeah.
And we believe that if we can be a great vehicle to help people get to where they want to be, if they wake up and are very proud of what they're accomplishing every day, if they leave, and some people leave, but we don't get that many people who leave, but if they do leave, we're proud of what we've been able to help them build. As a team, as an example, what differentiates us? One of the things I think is critical in today's world, particularly for people who want to be stable in their lives, is they've got to continue to learn. They've got to continue to grow. We make people accountable to actually be taking courses, to be out there learning, to doing research at least an hour every day, because that's the only way our organization's going to grow, is if they grow. And when they do leave, if they ever do leave, we know they're taking what we've taught each other away with them.
You hear that, Liz?
I
My
love
mentorship of you, it doesn't top out. You need to continue
Lifelong
to learn
learning.
and grow.
Yeah, and I'm here for it. I
Yes.
love learning. I love growing.
From me.
I've learned a lot
From me.
about how to carry someone and how to help them to be better.
Don't make me hit that button, that trombone.
And this has been the biggest challenge I faced, and I've been in higher ed for 15, 20 years. I've been admissions. I've been an instructor. I'm an instructional designer, and I would say mentoring you is by far the heaviest lift I've had of my whole
Well
career.
said, Liz.
And I'd love to hear Mitch's perspective, because as someone, as you, who has worked in higher education for a long time, I've seen a lot of change in the marketing aspect of it. Like someone that worked in admissions, we used to get the little lead cards, right? And you would call from that paper. Do you remember? I'm sure you remember that.
Tear-offs?
The little tear-off cards. And you would call that student directly from that card. So education, higher education as a whole has changed a lot over the past couple of decades, and the marketing aspect of it has really changed. It's been like an evolution, 10x. Tell us about your perspective about how much marketing has changed, and how, as a company, you've shifted and evolved in terms of serving your clients, and how you see that continuing to evolve as you grow and change and adapt in the future.
That's a great question. Before I forget this, though, Liz, I want to let you know that not only do you mentor Joe, I've seen him grow. I'm telling you, I've
Mitch,
seen
don't make
him
me
grow.
hit one of these buttons over here.
But you're one of our team's mentors. As a matter of fact, we consider both of you as part of the team.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks, Mitch.
Thank you so much.
I listen to your podcast on a almost daily basis.
That's awesome.
You've got brilliant people, and you are asking so many great questions that I've learned.
Thank you.
So you ask, how do you keep up? That's one of the ways that we keep up. It's learning about what's out there. I spend a lot of time listening to various podcasts, such as Singularity University. It's a
good one.
great organization. Keeping up with what's going on in technology, thinking about how technology is going to impact the future, not just of education, but in a future of marketing. And we are always, so I read a book called Zag, and the author had when they're zigging, you zag.
Right.
The
Love
author had two lessons that I will always take away. Number one, he asked his dad, who was his baseball hitting coach. He said, his baseball coach, he says, "Dad, how do I
Hit the ball.
hit them where they ain't? Hit them where they ain't."
I like that.
But his mom's advice was even more meaningful to me. And he said to his mom, "Mom, I want to be a leader, but I don't know what I want to lead or how to lead." And she says, "Son, that's easy. All you do is find a parade and jump in front."
Yeah, I like that.
Find a parade and jump in front.
Love
So
it.
specifically, in answer to your question,
Yeah.
we look at the trends, we look at what's taking place, we look at the technology, we test all the time. We're looking at what's where the world is going, and then from that point, we figure it out, and that's the direction we go in.
Let me ask you this,
Love
Mitch.
that. That was a gem right there.
Yeah, it was.
Let's make sure
Jump
we
in front
give
of the
that
parade.
acknowledgement. That was a real gem. Love it.
When you jumped in front of my parade, Liz, I knew then that you knew what you were doing.
And I was your leader,
Yeah.
and you followed, and I'm glad that you did.
At
Thank
one
you so
point,
much.
I had more LinkedIn followers than you, and then you jumped in front of my
that
parade.
was so long ago, though. I mean, that was like a year ago. How many do I have
give me
now?
one of these buttons.
80,000 to your.
Am I going too crazy with these buttons? I like them.
80,000 followers plus to your
Okay.
what? Not even 8,000?
Okay.
Oh
fine,
my God.
fine.
You
Liz,
got to keep up here.
I am going to
I have
change
to get
these
strict
buttons.
with you. I was being like a nurturing mentor, but now I'm going to get like Serena Williams' dad and just be like, look, get it together.
Britney Spears' dad, you're just going to not let me out? You're going to put me.
You have to, I mean, it's like Michael Jackson's dad. You have to practice like 10 hours a day
That's
now.
it. That's
There's no way around it.
I love
Forget
it. Mitch, what percentage of your client base, give me, it doesn't have to be an exact number, what percentage of your client base is outside of higher education?
Less than 1%.
Okay. The reason I'm asking you that is because there's a big difference between marketing companies who are helping higher education because higher ed is one vertical that they serve, and another thing when you're working with a marketing agency where higher ed is the only vertical they serve.
That's a good point.
That's a value proposition that I find with MDT marketing, is that your efforts, your entire lifeblood of your organization, you guys live and breathe it. You live and breathe higher ed. What do you think higher ed needs to do from a 30,000 foot level, right? Big level, when it comes to marketing and differentiation? Because competition isn't light anymore. If competition were light, boy, it'd be so easy, all of us could do it, but it's not, is it? What's a tip or two you have from a 30,000 foot level on the future of marketing for higher education?
Look at the trends, look at the technology, and ask your students. And our students will tell you what it is that they want and what they need. And it's going to be different than what most of the schools are providing today.
Yeah.
I've been listening to your podcast now for the last year and a half.
Thank you, sir.
And I
Appreciate
have learned so much, and I've listened to the leaders, and every leader, speaking of a leader, Jim Beloba just walked
Yes,
by.
he did.
Came by. That was nice.
Of Porter Chester. Everybody has a different vision. Everybody has a different mission. One of the things that has become crystal clear to me is every student learns in a different way. Every student needs something different. Some students come without the support system. Some are the support systems for their kids.
Yeah.
Single moms, single dads, from all walks of life, and everybody needs different things. So if I were advising the head of a college or university what to do, it's to understand what it is that people really need in order to get in, to get out, and to get a career. To get in, get out, and to what is it that they need student support wise? What kind of issues do they run into, and be proactive about it. If a student doesn't get to school, doesn't get to class, figure out whether they're coming to class and find out why, because they need help. I guarantee they need help. And if you don't know what that help is, you're going to lose a student and they won't end up graduating, and it's very sad.
I do want to say one more thing, Liz, if that's okay, before you jump in, because you
ahead.
interrupted me twice yesterday, so
Yeah,
I want to pay you back
well,
for that.
that's
But
all right.
but before we leave the marketing piece, I think it's key to talk about. You guys, MDT Marketing, has proudly served the career college sector for a number of years.
For sure.
And as I personally worked in a career college in the for-profit sector and transitioned in a nonprofit, one of the really interesting things that I found is that as I talk to nonprofit higher ed leaders, especially in the enrollment space, is they don't understand completely that the world's transitioning to where you actually actively recruit students. I talk about it, it's passive versus active recruitment. I could sit back and an application comes and I can process a student, versus now I've got to go and find a student. So when we talk about interest generation, if you want to call it lead generation, if you want to call it proactive messaging to students to get them interested in your product, boy, what an advantage to have worked in the career college sector, where that is like running layup drills.
Yeah.
For a lot of nonprofits, it's not known. Like lead generation interest isn't really what they did. Students kind of showed up on your doorstep. Well, there's gonna be less students. There's gonna be more schools with very similar delivery methods. Now with the increase in online ed, you better get really good at layup drills and communicating to your future students in a way that gets them interested in a proactive way. So I just want to bring that out because I think that's huge. Again, coming back to the point that you're a marketing company serving higher ed, not a marketing company that happens to have higher ed as a part of the business. I think that's just huge for you guys. And I know you're really a humble leader. You won't say it like that, so I'll say it for you and let you comment.
Well, I think that it's understanding the challenges that students have. I was telling Liz a story as right before this podcast. I actually had been going to school on and off for over 40 years.
Liz
and
too.
I didn't. Well, yes, only she's got I didn't get my degree, and she's got many degrees behind under her belt. But on and off, I had been going to school, and I'd been going to a community college, and I thought it was a great education I was getting, but I couldn't make it through. Life got in my way.
Yeah.
And in turn, I ended up trying out Kaiser University, and they're one class at a time situation, but getting into the point I was going to make in this, and it worked. I ended up graduating in 2016, but I ran into this young lady who, the way they work, the online classes, is you've got discussion posts that you're required to give in every course.
Right.
And you're supposed to make a post and then comment on other people's posts. So this one young lady on Sunday mornings, she would disagree with everything I said. I'm telling you everything. And you have to understand,
I know
I've been
what that
in
feels like.
management and marketing for years.
Yep.
And I understand these concepts, but she would disagree with everything. Well, I ended up having about 7 courses with her. And over the time period of those 7 courses, I started finding out about her. A single young Black lady with 3 children, came from a foster home environment. work very hard, doing jobs.
Yeah.
Um,
The new traditional student, as we like to
Mhm.
say here.
she didn't have a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her boss allowed her to use the computer on Sunday mornings. I thought arrogantly that she was just trying to give me a hard time in classes. She wasn't trying to give me a hard time. She wasn't able to respond but a couple hours a day on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the story. This person, she was brilliant, very smart.
Yeah.
This is the kind of story that charges me. And I forget the specifics of your question. You were, what
I was just, my point was that you're the understanding of your student. You guys are serving, higher education in a specific way, and the competition for students is heating up. And so you better
figure
understand
out how to do that, how to take care of a student like her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Figure
That's
it out, and you will be successful. Don't figure it out, or don't think about who that new traditional student is, and you're going to have a real problem in continuing being successful in the future.
All right, Liz, you get the last great question here.
I'd love for you, because as to kind of piggyback on what Joe said, you have such a great perspective over the past couple of decades. You've worked with so many different schools. You have a great perspective just from your own experience as having experienced being a student that needed to go back to school and find solutions. What are the trends that you're seeing as far as your clients that you're serving and helping them to overcome their challenges? What are some of the primary pain points you're finding from the institutions that you're speaking with, especially over the past year, where we've overcome as a country so many challenges, and higher ed specifically has had to pivot on a dime so quickly? What are some of the pain points and maybe themes that you've seen over the past year or so? And what are some of the solutions that your company brings to the table that maybe people are not aware of or don't know, or differentiate you from a lot of the other marketing companies?
I didn't say the last question was going to be easy, Mitch.
No, that's a great question. So in March, we made a decision in about a half hour that we needed to stop coming to the office. And we were already prepared. We were already in the cloud. People packed up whatever they needed, left, and it was like nothing happened. They were working from their houses. So what is it that we did? Why? What are we seeing? We've got a technology. We've got a dashboard system, insight reporting, that gives us the ability to be able to understand what's working, what's not working, what channels are working, what programs are, how programs, different programs in the school.
Program modeling
leads,
is super important.
The leads that are coming in, we know in advance whether they've got enough students coming into the nursing program versus a different program, or they're running short. The key is we've got real-time reporting where on a weekly basis we're talking to our clients and we're making decisions. So back to COVID differentiated one marketing organization from another.
Yes, it did.
And I can tell you that we knew exactly week by week what was happening, what was working, what the messages were that needed to be out there, what was working, what wasn't working. We realized on a dime what kind of problems that we were seeing and what kind of changes that we needed to make. We tested one thing after another until we came up with the right combinations. And I can tell you, without the team that we had, we couldn't have made this happen. Without the technology that we had available to us, we couldn't have made this happen. Those are the kind of things that differentiate an organization, one organization from another. And I can also tell you, it ain't the technology, or it's not the technology. It's never the what, it's always the who. It is the people who made a difference. It's our team who made a difference. The decisions they made a difference. And I could tell you, I'm so fortunate because they're not the decisions I make. They're the decisions they make. I don't have to do anything for us to be successful.
And that's the makings of a great company, ladies and gentlemen.